just random accessories.
Is that Louis Vuitton?
Maybe Louis Vuitton?
Oh, that's diamonds?
I just threw him out of the game!
They were banned by the MLB. And first, I never thought an on-field accessory would get ruined because of a player's favorite food, but Jazz Chisholm's known to have more than a sweet tooth. Since he loves ice cream, he pulled up to spring training using this. A glove that looks exactly like a waffle cone, holding strawberry ice cream and is dipped in sprinkles. The glove was so dope that it not only got put into video games and had all fans wanting one.
Glove drop soon.
Jazz dropped even more styles, from chocolate to cherry dip, even a blue waffle version that he eventually used to create one of his best highlights.
Jazz diving and makes the play!
But when Jazz dropped a flavor that even I'm always slurping on, cookies and cream.
For winning, you've never had any.
Oh, power!
That stuff is...
The MLB claimed it was a huge issue. They felt the white on the tip would blend in with white balls, making it too hard to see if plays were being made. And cause the umpires already can't make correct calls as it is, Jazz's white glove was banned. But it isn't always the MLB not allowing an accessory, cause the Yankees were about to ruin Alex Verdugo's crazy neck game. He might be a white boy, but his neck's always gold and diamond. This man started his career rocking a few small chains, but once Alex got some huge contracts, it allowed him to upgrade to even bigger chains. Not only did he get one customized to show love to his new city, combined with his favorite cartoon.
This chain is crazy, man.
He's not always wearing one or even 2 chains. Alex admitted he started rocking more than 5 chains at once.
I rock anywhere from 1 to 6, 7 chains. If it goes together, it goes together.
Now that many chains is crazy. But once he got traded to the Yankees, they're known to be pretty strict about everything. So when Alex showed up to team picture day and was rocking 1, 3, 2, more chains than I can count, the Yankees manager felt like Alex's chains were a distraction and put more attention on him rather than on the team. So he made up a new rule saying Alex would only be allowed to wear 1 chain per game. Boo! So fans literally clowned the manager because all of Alex's other chains were banned. But who would have thought an accessory controversy would come from a player playing with another man's wood?
You gay.
Well, Martin Maldonado was about to play in one of the biggest moments of his career, the 2022 World Series. So an MLB legend, Albert Pujols, wanted to help him out by sending through a special delivery. In here were a couple special edition Marucci branded AP5 bats. You know, the exact bats that help Pujols do legendary things like crushing over 700 home runs.
Pujols sends one in the air. It's deep to left. Taylor's back at the wall. It's 700.
Alright, and since those bats turned Pujols into Jesus Christ, Maldonado was down to play with his wood. That's why in Game 1 of the World Series, Mans whipped it out to get a hit, and it even scored a run.
Runner takes off and a ground ball base hit. Maldonado comes through and it's 2-0 Houston.
But once the game was done, rumors spread that Maldonado cheated by using a bat that was illegal. See, Pujols' bats stopped being allowed in the league because they were made of maple wood and broke easily. So even though the MLB claimed using the bat didn't give anybody a competitive advantage, Maldonado was still forced to switch back to his original bats, and once he did,
Chases for the first out. Leaping ball. And good work.
man started playing like ass because the Pujol bats were banned. Now, alright, there's a ton of other accessories that got taken out of baseball for even crazier reasons. But what if I told you a jersey that players wore was so controversial, it sparked a citywide riot? People were pissed because the MLB was trying to reach new fans. They forced all teams to show their support for the Pride community, and the controversy began with Pride nights at ballparks. Not only were stadiums covered in colored decorations, massive flags were flown before games, bases had rainbows on them, stadiums filled up with, these kind of people. But what became controversial was when players were forced to wear special jerseys. Some teams refused, like the Texas Rangers, and 5 players on the Tampa Bay Rays went against it because they weren't trying to be wearing rainbows either. Like, some literally peeled off the logo, claiming they didn't agree with Pride because of religious beliefs. And this made fans so salty that they began exposing some of the players. One fan even said those players should be banned from the league for that. Now, alright. But the craziest of the situations came when the Dodgers had their Pride night. All because people with crazy looking makeup and dressed up in nun outfits showed up to the game? Since it seemed like those prideful people were all mocking God, thousands of fans against all this pride BS started a huge riot at the stadium. Things got completely out of control, and all this conflict made the MLB commissioner realize he had to take pride out of the ballgame. So he forced all teams to stop wearing pride jerseys because they were banned. And yet, a player still decided to wear some cleats representing pride. Sean Doolittle wore some rainbow cleats for Pride Month. Because the MLB's rules state that over 51% of a player's cleat has to be team colors. Since his uniform was blue with some white that day, the colorful cleats obviously didn't match, so they were banned. But those were only one of the 4 cleats that the MLB kicked out of games. Cubs player Ben Zobrist pulled up to a game rocking all black cleats. But once he went black, he was forced to go back. Just taking a look at his team colors of red, white, and blue, none of that was on his shoe. So, cause they didn't match his team colors, he posted that the MLB threatened to fine if he wore them again, and that meant his BBC, big black cleats, were banned. But imagine a player's cleats serving a good cause, like honoring a legend, and the MLB annihilates him for no reason. Well, that went down when the Dodgers' legendary announcer, Vin Scully, planned on retiring soon. So one of their stars, Yasiel Puig, put some heat on his feet. No, not like that. See, Puig wore cleats to honor Vin that were custom Nikes in gray, red, and blue. They even featured Vin's face on them with the slogan, "Win for Vin." And just think, the cleats were so raw that the MLB's own official Twitter posted them with hard eyes. So there's no way the MLB could have been against them then, right? Wrong. Puig instantly got a warning from the MLB that if he wore them again, he'd be fined $5,000 just because they didn't match team colors? Hold up, man. I know I need glasses, but last time I checked, the Dodgers were gray, red, and blue, so what the hell is the MLB yapping about? Well, their excuse was that the Nike swoosh had a slight tint of orange, and since that color is in other team logos but not the Dodgers, the Vin cleats were banned. But alright, enough discriminating towards colors. This ain't the 1900s, man. Huh? This 4th and final cleat got taken out the MLB just because they were disrespectful. Now, I definitely ain't talking about the craziest cleats I saw a player wear, cause just look at what they say. I'm subscribed to Hitflix. Shit, even MLB players are fans of the channel and you ain't? What are you doing? Subscribe. Anyways, the final cleats that got banned actually came when the MLB confirmed a cheating scandal. The Astros were exposed at cheating for wins, and especially to beat the Dodgers in some of the biggest games of the year. So obviously the Dodgers were pissed, and the tension carried over till the next time they faced. It was obvious during their matchup when Dodgers pitcher Joe Kelly literally threw a ball 96 miles an hour at an Astro player's head. Then just a few batters later, he did it again and even talked shit after striking the player out. This instantly had the benches clearing, so the MLB turned into the UFC. Kelly sparked all this, so he was eventually suspended 8 games. But other pitchers around the league actually felt like supporting Kelly was the right move. Trevor Bauer got a pair of custom cleats that said "Free Joe Kelly" on one side, then on the other side had a painting of him taunting the Astros.
Alright guys, game day. Using my cleats for today.
But once the MLB saw the cleats, they threatened that if he actually wore them, he'd be disciplined, fined, and removed from the game. All Trevor could say was, "I learned my lesson. Fun is bad, cheating's good. I won't make the same mistake twice. I promise you that." After his custom cleats were banned. But even though every accessory we talked about so far either had a sad ending or could lose a player money, this final player wore an illegal accessory on purpose, just so he'd make hundreds of thousands of dollars. David Wells officially became a Yankee, but he wasn't trying to wear crazy chains like our boy earlier. David's idol was someone who also played for the Yankees decades ago, Babe Ruth. So at first, David wanted to wear Babe's iconic jersey number 3, but knowing Babe became legendary in that number and already had it retired,
his famous number 3 will never be worn by another Yankee player, but will go to America's baseball shrine at Cooperstown, New York.
the number was off limits. Now, David chose one of the closest things he could by settling with the number 33, but slapping an extra 3 on his back, that wasn't good enough. He also got an arm tattoo of his Babe. Then David spent over $35,000 on one of Babe's game-worn accessories, this hat. Unfortunately though, capping like that isn't allowed in the MLB.
So I ended up buying it for 35 grand. I took it to the ballpark. I said, I'm gonna wear this sucker. Joe Torre got wind of it. He's like, hey, you can't wear that hat. It's not required uniform. I'm like, yo, how cool would that be to wear the hat? Babe Ruth wore it, now I'm wearing it in the game, and kind of brings back history a little bit, because it is history. I'm like, I'm gonna wear this hat. He goes, no, you're not. I go, oh, yeah, I am. I was warming up. I walked by him, and he was looking right at my hat. I looked down, see, I don't have it on, but I went up to my locker, put it on, and I'm looking up the tunnel. I see Jorge and Derek, and they're looking at me, and I'm like, go, just run out there, because when you run out there, they start the music, and I'm like, go! So they took off running, and then I came right on the mound, and Joe was pissed. He goes, take the hat off. He goes, I told you not to wear it. And I said, well, I wore it. It's pretty cool. And he goes, well, you're not wearing it anymore. After the game, he called me in. He's like, yeah, you're fined $2,500. I'm like, that's it? And I said, all right, whatever it is. At least I got to wear the hat, and you know, history is history.
So after David was fined $2,500 for violating the MLB's policy about each player wearing the same uniform, he was petty and paid it off in $2,500 $1 bills. Then, to avoid getting fined anymore for wearing an accessory that was banned, dude sold the hat for a bag.
So I bought it for 35 grand, and I took a lot of grief for paying that much for a hat. I saw in the paper a Babe Ruth jersey, and it was going up for auction. I said, if somebody's not gonna get the jersey, they're gonna buy the hat. So I ended up putting the hat on the auction and ended up getting like $550,000, $600,000 for it. That's a good investment on my part. That's the saga of that hat. It was pretty cool.
Over $500,000 just for head from another dude? That's stupidly expensive. But it ain't this expensive, and even that car ain't as expensive as what other MLB players own. Someone spent millions on things that are illegal. Ohtani bought something that a lot. And one MLB Legends purchase might even make the earth explode. It's all in this clickable option I sophisticatedly put under your visual for the easier ability to click the video, so click it.